Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to install a wireless keypad remote for your garage. Now keep in mind that you do need to get your brand specific remote to match the motor that you have. In my case, I have a Genie, so I went out and bought the Genie specific remote. They do make universal kits. I'm not entirely sure if I trust those, but just make sure that you get the brand specific one. If you have a LiftMaster, you need to get a LiftMaster remote. I'll have a link down in the description to a few of these if you want to check them out. This one here was around $43, so they're really not all that expensive, but this is going to be very useful, especially for me. If I'm doing yard work, you can see I have a motorcycle in the background there, so I don't have to walk around the entire house to come in to open up the garage. I can do it from the outside. It's going to make it much easier. As you can tell, I don't have a side exit door for my garage, so if you don't have that, this is the next best thing, very inexpensive way to be able to gain access to your garage from the exterior. So let's go ahead, get this installed. So every kit is really going to be very similar. They may just vary in color or the style of how they open. So in my kit here, I've already opened up just to make sure I have everything. You'll have all of your instructions along with your hardware. And then on this kit here, it does have the flip up cover. So like I said, some of them may have the slide up cover, just a different brand, obviously different style. On the lower section here, we do have the batteries. So I do need to remove this tab here and make sure that they are properly installed. And you'll notice too, on the back side of the batteries, we have the second screw hole to attach this to the exterior of the house. So I'll show that later. The first one is on the upper section here. And so now with that installed, we have all of those instructions that I just showed. However, they're laid out much easier on the underside of this cover. So on this brand, we have them all laid out. Might be very similar to a different brand as well. So we're going to start off with step number one, locating the programming button on your actual unit. So in my case, it says program and set. They have a few different diagrams here, just depending on the brand that you have. So once we have located that, we're going to push on it for 2 to 3 seconds until we see an LED light appear. From there, we can move on to this keypad here. So I'm going to hold on this. You'll see that light appear. So now I can move down to the remote. It has a code that it wants me to enter. And you'll see the backlit there, meaning that this is operating correctly. And now I'm going to push on it 3 to 4 times. Oh, and so the garage door has worked on that 4th try there, 3rd try. So it's working. So that was very easy, very simple to do. From there, I'm going to put in a new code. So when the backlight goes out on this, it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but currently it is still on. I'm going to wait for that to go out. Once that goes out, I can enter the factory pin that it's told me on step number 1 there. Then I'm going to push on the programming key, enter a new code, press program one more time. So the backlight went out. I'm going to go to the code that it told me to do, enter the programming key. Now I can enter my new code. And from there, I will hit the program key again, and I'll wait for the backlit to go out. Now I should be able to type in my code. And once that is in, now I can shut it. And so with that programmed, I'm going to try to open the garage door, and you'll see that with the backlit there, nothing is working. So I will put in my code. With the new code in, I can push on that button, and now we can let the garage door open up, and I'll show you how to close it. And the reason that I say that is because I know there are some units where you don't have to enter your code in order to shut the garage door. I think those are a little bit more convenient. However, I do have to go with the Genie brand here, obviously because of the motor. So now I can input my new code, and with the new code in, push on that, and it will shut the door. And so just like that, this is now paired to my garage door, and we can move on to installing this to the outside of the house. Of course, it doesn't matter which side of the garage door that you put it on. I'm going to put it right about here, so about eye level for me. I think this is going to be a great spot for it. And I'm going to try to get it as centered as I can. I'm not really going to be too picky about that. But I'm going to start with the upper bolt first, just because on the back side, you do have to slide it on. From there, we can make sure it is level and then secure the lower screw. So it's right pretty much behind the LED light there underneath the program button. So right about here, I've almost started a small hole, but with the metal that I have on the side of the house, I do have a drill bit here, so I can get a starter hole before I screw that in. So I'm just going to do a small hole like that, just so the screw has something to go into. From there, I can grab one of my screws, and you want it about 1/8 of an inch away from the side of the house. So I'm gonna go right about there. That should be okay. I can make adjustments because I want this to be as flush to the house as possible. So I'm gonna go a little bit tighter. But you don't want it to go too tight, of course, where you can't slide this on. So that is a little bit too tight. And so with that about centered, I can start my second pilot hole right about here. And then grab my second screw. We can install this one just behind the batteries. And with that properly aligned, it's time to reinstall the batteries here in their proper location. And with that on, I can put in my new code. And once that is in, I can push on that button and it works. So that's a really cool feature to be able to enter and exit your garage from the outside. We will let that close all the way. And with that in, like I said, very easy to be able to gain access. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Very cool process and project for your garage door. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I'll see you guys in the next video.